Pnawn da I chi gyd. Good afternoon. Croeso I Gaerdydd ac I Neuadd Dewisant. Welcome to Cardiff and to St David's Hall. It's a very great pleasure for the university to welcome you all, both graduates and their supporters, on this auspicious occasion. It's a great day for the university, and it's a great day, I'm sure, for each one of you. I've been asked, first of all, to identify myself. I'm Bill John. I'm one of the vice presidents of the university. I'm also a graduate of the university a long time ago now. But it's a very great pleasure for me to have the opportunity to preside at this congregation. I want to extend particularly cordial greetings to all the parents and friends and supporters of the graduates, for they will all have played a major part, I'm sure, in the success of each one of you who will be coming before the Vice-Chancellor later on. The presentation, I know, of each one of you tells its own story. There are about 300, 400 stories here today. And those stories, some of them are fairly straightforward. Others are stories of great hardship or sacrifice or personal misfortune or academic concerns or separation far from family and friends. But today is the occasion where we can put all those things aside for your work, the struggle, the effort have been rewarded, and you can look forward proudly on this day as one of fulfillment. We cherish our tradition in this university for this most important staging post in a student's life. It's a formal and public recognition of your admission at first or higher degree level to the community of scholars. It's a day for congratulation. It's a day for celebration. And I hope you will make the most of it and enjoy it to the full, and also enjoy the memories of it to the full in the future. You've earned your place at this ceremony by studies in a university of which I am immensely proud. It's a university with more than a century of service and achievement behind it, and the promise of an increasingly bright future before it. Remember, it's your university, our university. We will take pride in all your achievements in whatever field or endeavour those achievements may be. And we hope that you will take equal pride in the achievements which your successors may reach in the future. This platform isn't the place to extol at length all our achievements in the recent past. But I would perhaps be remiss if I failed to draw attention to at least one or two of them. We stand here among the leading institutions of higher education in the country, in both research and in teaching. But having achieved our initial aim of becoming one of the top 10 research institutions in the country, we are now setting our sights even higher. We hope to gain a place in the top 5. That's an even more ambitious target. It's a very ambitious target. But we hope that one day we will achieve it and we will hope that this institution in this fine capital city of Cardiff will be an institution of world-class status. We have been ranked in those league tables as 7th in over 100 institutions for the quality of the research which is undertaken here. And so many of our research areas have been assessed as of outstanding value and standard. It's very important too this afternoon, if we look through the programme, for visitors to see just the range of the studies which represent those who are being presented here. Psychology, optometry, pharmacy, physics and astronomy, chemistry. It's a huge range of studies. And in all those areas, we have something to shout about. We don't want to make invidious comparisons here. Let's shout about the achievements of all our departments here. And let us also think of all the other departments in the university which have been striving, as the staff and students across the institution have been striving. Research excellence goes hand in hand with teaching excellence. And it is remarkable that in so many areas of the institution, we have been independently assessed as excellent for teaching. Now, I hope that you have all recognized the value of that teaching in the course of your studies. You must have, otherwise you wouldn't be here today. And you and I have a lot to thank the academic members of staff for the way in which they have led your studies forward. You're at the point now where you're in the community of scholars. You will be leading the studies and the learning and the experiences of others forward. And we hope that the kind of example which has been set for you here, you will take away with you wherever you may go. These achievements bear witness to the very high caliber and commitment of all our staff. However, we've got to be on our guard about league tables and comparisons, because just like football teams and the price of stocks and shares go up and go down, well, the same thing can happen to institutions. We've no illusions that we can afford to rest on our laurels, and we aspire to improve the quality of our teaching and research further during the next few years. To make this possible, we are having heavy investment in new buildings, refurbished buildings. While you have been here, you will have seen rising before your eyes the new extension for the life sciences. Not a very obvious building to see, but it's remarkable what it will contain, and it's quite remarkable what it's costing just to put up. It's costing 13 million just to put it up. And some of you will be very pleased to know that while you have had perhaps to suffer all sorts of what you may regard as cramped quarters, well, the day is not far off when the School of Optometry will be housed in a brand new building on the other side of the railway line. The plans are well forward, and we hope that, well, maybe it'll be the first time that some of you come back to Cardiff within the next 12 months. You'll already see that building rising up. Our already high quality of teaching and research will be further supported by the exciting prospect of our proposed merger with our long-standing partner, the University of Wales College of Medicine. We have a long tradition of sharing the education of doctors and dentists with the college and collaborating closely in many projects with them. We hope, we believe, that our merger will produce major benefits across a wide field, ranging far beyond medical and healthcare concerns to matters of scholarship and economic development. There's much more that I could point to as evidence of the international distinction of the institution, including the prizes, the awards, the distinctions which have been earned by our academic staff. And the potential for trumpet blowing is inexhaustible. However, my principal duty here on that score of trumpet blowing is to say, let the trumpet sound now, to herald your success and to give formal recognition to your achievement. I've been asked to draw your attention very briefly and give a word about the stages of the ceremony to help you follow it, particularly for the visitors who may not have had a chance to study the programme very carefully. The ceremony proceeds with the reading of the graduation proclamation by Miss Lisa Pugh, which sets the tone for the whole ceremony with the opening declaration of the University of Wales motto, Gorau Owen Gwirionedd, the best inspiration is truth. The University Secretary, Miss Eileen Edwards, will then read the declaration authorising Dr. Grant, the Vice-Chancellor, to admit you to your respective degrees. The graduands will be presented in groups, either head of department or the dean or the pro-vice-chancellor, and each one will shake hands with the vice-chancellor as he or she crosses the stage. And then, when they're assembled in their group in front of the vice-chancellor, they will be admitted by him to their degrees. You are, please, in the congregation generally, you are requested to suppress your exuberance, to clap or cheer individuals as they are presented initially to the Vice-Chancellor. Please reserve your applause and make it as loud as you like then, when the group have been collectively admitted by the Vice-Chancellor. At the end of this process, the University Secretary will ask all the new graduates to stand to receive a greeting from me as Vice President and a welcome from Professor Harvard Williams, the Warden of the Guild of Graduates, to the membership of which guild, as to the Alumni Association of this university. I always remind you, your admission here remarkably gives you free entry. Take note, it's one of the few free gifts left in life for you. Thereafter, there will be a short ceremony to admit Dr. Julia King to an honorary fellowship of the
Can you make that lecture mic live? The one who's standing for Dr. Ross Chicken.
Hello? Hello? That's live, is it? Okay. Trwy awdurdod o brifysgol, am ddioriedwyd I mi, dy baniau chwi, I raf baglor mewn peirienneg, Just testing, folks. That's fine.
No problem, thanks.
And she will be introduced by the University Orator, Professor David Skilton. I shall then bring the congregation to a close. I shall now ask Miss Lisa Pugh to read the proclamation. Miss Lisa.
Gorau awen gwirionedd. Bydded hysbys Eglwys i aelodau'r Brifysgol ac i bawb sydd yn bresennol, y cynhelir heddiw yr unfed dydd ar 15 o fis Gorffennaf 2003 yma yn Ninas Caerdydd, gynulliad awdurdodedig Prifysgol Cymru i dderbyn i'w priodol raddau bersonau 2 gair, sydd, trwy efrydiaeth yn y Brifysgol, a thrwy ddisg, medr a dyfal barhad, wedi teilyngu'r cyfryw raddau yn unol ag ordeiniadau'r Brifysgol. Gyda phob gweddi a dymuniad ar iddynt fwynhau iechyd a hir hoedl, i wasanaethu ei hoes a'i cenedl dan fendith y nef. Yna do oleini a gyfyd mewn tywyllwch, ath dywyllwch a fydd fel hanner dydd. A rhai a fyddant ohono ti, a adeiladant yr hen ddiffeithleoedd. Gorau awen gwirionedd. The best inspiration is truth. Be it known to members of the university and to all here present that an authorised congregation of the University of Wales is being held here in the city of Cardiff on the 16th of July 2003 to admit to their appropriate degrees worthy persons who have, through study at the university and through learning, ability and perseverance, been deemed worthy of such degrees in accordance with the ordinances of the university, in the hope that they may be given health and long life to serve their generation and their country under the blessing of heaven. Then shall thy light rise in obscurity, and thy darkness be as the noonday, and they that shall be of thee shall build the old waste places.
Bydded hysbys i aelodau'r Brifysgol ac i bawb sydd yn bresennol fod y Brifysgol wedi rhoddi'r awdurdod i Dr David Grant i dderbyn i'w graddau fyfyrwyr Prifysgol Caerdydd a enillodd raddau yn unol â rheolau'r Brifysgol. Gwelir enwau'r rhai a gellir ei derbyn i'w graddau yn y cynulliad hwn yn y rhestrau printiedig sydd wedi dosbarthu. Let it be known to members of the university and to all who are present that the university has granted authority to Dr David Grant to admit to their degrees students of Cardiff University who have qualified for degrees according to the regulations of the university. The names of those who may be admitted to their degrees in this congregation are to be seen on the printed lists that have been distributed.
Anrhydefus is ganghelllo, cyflwynaeth I ti ddisgyblio o'n brifysgol ni a enillodd rhad baglo mewn gwyddoniaeth. I, Dr Mike Hewlins, present for the degree of Bachelor of Science, Christian Bartetsko Hibbert. Darren John Broom. Robert Charles Carmichael. Darren John Conduit. Shelley Marie Daniels. Anna Teresa Davis. Elizabeth Sian Don. Hugh Edward Evans. Joanna Ruth Gentili. Rachel Caroline Allison Gregg. Nicola Louise Hahn. Kate Hollenby. Naomi Catherine Holland. Mohammed Ismail. Robert James. Ian Spencer Jones. Evangelia Michaludi. Jonathan Devonald Lewis Morse. Rachel Tracy Parry. Suzanne Helen Pelfrey. Sarah Louise Periam. Mark James Pottinger, Victoria Ridley, Gemma Victoria Scott,
Namda, good afternoon. At this point in the ceremony, and at other equivalent times, I will speak in Welsh to admit groups of graduates. Each degree has a formula of admission, which, when translated, means, by the authority conferred upon me by the university, I admit you to the degree, which I will name, and to all the privileges of that degree. Rwy awdurdod y brifysgol, a ymddiriedwyd I mi, der baniaf chwi, I radd baglor mewn gwyddoniaeth, ac I holl freniau rathon.
Catherine Martha Sedgwick, Emma Jane Shields, Mandeep Kaur Sidhu, Lisa Sian Stanton, Gavin Wiltshire, Leanne Mary Bailey, Krishna Chapaneri, Jennifer Kelly Edwards, John Robert Hands, Simon Hayes, Anna Pearl Jones, Deborah Louise Lee, Anthony James Proctor, James Hugh Pearson Landon, Simon Peter Smale, David Gareth Butler, Eleanor Rowan Davies, Elizabeth Ann Drake, Nathan Ashley Austin, Christina Shino Porro, Halima May Sabo, Christopher James Wallace, Gareth Robert Williams,
Rwy awdurdod y brifysgol, a ymddiriedwyd I mi der baniaf chwi, I radd baglor mewn gwyddoniaeth, ac I holl freniau rathon.
Anrhydedus Isganghellor, cyflwynodd I ti ddisgyblion o'n brifysgol ni a enillodd radd athro mewn cemeg. I, Dr. Mike Hewlins, present for the degree of Master of Chemistry, Daniel Thomas Archard, Edward Lawrence Jeffrey, Stephen Patrick Thomas,
Rwy awdurdod y brifysgol, a ymddiriedwyd I mi der baniaf chwi, I radd athro mewn cemeg, ac I holl freniau rathon.
Anrhydeddus is ganghellor, cyflwynir gan yr athro Mike Bolton, ddisgyblion o'n prifysgol ni, a enillodd radd baglor mewn gwyddoniaeth.
I, Mike Bolton, present for the degree of Bachelor of Science Nicola Lucy Aubrey, Michael Leonard Barrett, Gemma Louise Bisley, Sally Jane Blackmore, Ria Elizabeth Bremner, Philip John Byrne, Lindsay Lauren Carr, Rashvinder Kaur Chana, Ravi Chowda, Shi Yun Olivia Chung, Andrew John Clementson, Aquila Datu, Surjit Devatwal, Elizabeth Allison. Heilwyn Elizabeth Davis, Helith Faye Easterbrook, Katayan Eliassi, Helen Jean Flanagan, Vandana Jane Garg, Michelle G. Batchelor Dove, Nicola Mary Haig Brown, Ruth Hall, Laura Helen Hannant, Eleanor Kate Humphreys, Katie Louise Isles.
Rwy awdurdod a brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi der baniaf chwi I radd baglor mewn gwyddoniaeth ac I holl franiawr radd hon.
Laura Ann Irwin, Jaslyn Carr Jolly, Claire Louise Jones, Siôn Gwydion Jones, Jan Bernard Julian, Jenna Shui Ching Lau, Eleanor Louise Lynch, Stephen John Malcolm, Hertha Prit Kaur Mann, Philip McGuinness, Lorna McCowan, Peter James McNeill, Lorna Helen Minor, Sarah Monk, Julie Moore, Nia Morgan, David Johnson Morris, Julia Morishuk, Bansi Nathwani, Hugh Gareth Owens, Mitish Patel, Sonali Patel, Twinkle Patel, Unati Patel, Deepti Raina,
Rwy awdurdod a brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi der baniaf chwi I radd baglor mewn gwyddoniaeth ac I holl franiawr radd hon.
Martin Rawlinson, Angela Nicole Rehal, Nicola Riddles, Rachel Mary Robinson, Bethan Roderick, Vanita Sukhdev, Ashish Shah, Anupa Kurin Shah, Bindya Amratlal Shah, Burju Kantilal Shah, Meera Jagdish Shah,
Bore da, good morning. Croeso I Gaerdydd ac I Neuadd Dewi Sant. Welcome to Cardiff and to St David's Hall. My name is Donald Walters, and I'm privileged and proud to be a Vice President of this magnificent university of ours here in Cardiff. It's my very great pleasure to welcome you to this graduation ceremony, or congregation to give its official name. In so doing, I wish to extend a particularly warm welcome to those parents, partners and others whose support and no doubt suffering on behalf of those graduating today will have played a major part in their success. May I also add my personal congratulations to all of you who are graduating, graduands about to be translated into graduates. You studied hard to earn your place at this ceremony, and who have achieved a qualification from the university which has more than a century of service and achievement behind it, and, we believe, a very bright future in front of it. I hope that you will be able to use your qualification to enrich your lives in many ways in the years to come. You can be confident that the qualifications you have earned from Cardiff is held in high regard, not just in Britain but worldwide. A very important consideration for a university which competes on a global basis, and for students who wish to pursue careers internationally. This reputation has been earned because of the importance which the university attaches to its teaching mission. No fewer than 21 subject areas have been recognised in government assessments as providing teaching of the very highest quality. To maintain these high standards, the university continues to invest in this important area. Recently, a £2 million investment has provided a new laboratory for experimental astrophysics, and a £3.5 million high-speed computer network makes Cardiff one of the first universities in the world to benefit from next-generation technology in this field. Employers endorse that quality. The university continues to be targeted by major employers, and the employment levels for our graduates when they leave remain very strong. I trust that's been the experience of those of you about to start your careers, whilst those of you continuing your studies will find that you have a solid foundation on which to build. Cardiff is also one of Britain's leading research-led universities, a status endorsed by the latest government assessment, in which it was ranked 7th of 106 institutions in the United Kingdom for the quality of the research undertaken. 24 out of 28 research areas were recognised as undertaking work of international significance, and of these, 7 were ranked in the highest possible category. This research delivers social, cultural and economic benefits and makes a difference to the lives of real people in terms of health, employment, culture and overall quality of life. And I think it's important to remember that universities are an integral part of modern society. Having achieved our strategic aim of becoming one of the top 10 research universities in Britain, we've now set our sights even higher. Our new target is to have a place in the top 5. The past, present and future of the university, incidentally, is dealt with very succinctly in pages 2 to 4 of your programme, and I hope if you haven't done so already, you'll have time to read those pages. Of great significance in a few weeks' time is the merger of our activities with those of the University of Wales College of Medicine. This coming together with our long-established collaborator and local neighbour will further the ambition of both of us to create a dynamic and internationally competitive university, delivering even greater benefits in teaching, research and the application of knowledge and technology for the benefit of society. The benefits of our merger plans are already apparent. The unification plan has been critical in securing some £25 million of investment to fund the merger process, new staff appointments, capital investment and development of the research infrastructure that will enable groundbreaking biomedical research at Cardiff and realise ambitious research plans that will bring benefits to Wales and the world. Of particular note is the £10 million grant to put in place world-leading brain scanning facilities which will be unique in the United Kingdom. And as I go around to the university, almost daily I find academics who are finding new ways in which we can collaborate together so that we can together become one of the most prestigious universities in the United Kingdom and internationally recognized. There's much more I could point to as evidence of international distinction, including prizes, awards, and other distinctions earned by the academic staff, the designated centres of excellence and other new facilities, including the £2 million extension in the School of Psychology. But now, let's return to the ceremony. I'm sure it will enhance your understanding and enjoyment if we spend a few minutes going through it. You will see that the words used for the various stages of the ceremony are printed in your programme under the relevant heading. The congregation will proceed after I have sat down with the reading of the graduation proclamation in English and Welsh by one of our graduates, Angharad George. Following that, our Secretary Louise Casella will read the authorisation for the admission of graduands to degrees, and we'll then proceed to admit you to your degree. Graduands will be presented by the head of school, pro-vice-chancellor or professor, and will be admitted to their degrees by the vice-chancellor, Dr. David Grant. At the end of this process, Louise Casella will ask all graduates to stand, and you'll be greeted by myself and by the acting warden of the Guild of Graduates, Professor Harvard Williams. Giving that greeting is one of the great pleasures of the year. This will be followed by a short ceremony to admit Jonathan Porritt as an honorary fellow of the university in recognition of his international distinction in his advocacy on environmental issues. Those of you who get up early enough will have already heard him on the Today programme this morning, engaging with John Humphreys and Lord Winston. And he will be introduced to you by the university orator, Professor David Skilton. Now, can I just give you 2 points of what I call housekeeping before we proceed? Please ensure you have turned off all your mobiles. As a precaution, I've left mine behind. I would have thought the ultimate embarrassment would be for a ringing tone to come from here. And will you be kind enough to clap only after every cohort has come up and been admitted by the Vice-Chancellor? Cohorts are in numbers up to 25. Please don't clap as people cross the stage to be admitted. We know you are enthusiastic, and so are we, but one of the big problems is that the whole proceedings are being video recorded, and if there's clapping, then the video can't pick up the names as the people come forward. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all enjoy yourselves on this happiest of occasions. I'll now call on Angharad George to read the proclamation.
Gorau iawn gwirionedd. Bydded hysbys i aelodau'r Brifysgol ac i bawb sydd yn bresennol, y cynhelir heddiw y 12fed dydd o fis Gorffennaf 2013 yma yn Ninas Caerdydd, gynulliad awdurdodedig Prifysgol Cymru i dderbyn i'w priodol raddau, bersonau da i gair sydd trwy yfrydiaeth yn y Brifysgol a thrwy ddysg, medr a dyfal barhad wedi teilyngu'r cyfryw raddau yn unol ag ordiniadau'r Brifysgol. Gyda phob gweddi a dymuniad ar iddynt fwynhau iechyd a hir hoedl i wasanaethu ei hoes a'i cenedl dan fendydd y nef. Yna, deoleini a gyfyd mewn tywyllwch, ath dywyllwch a fydd fel hanner dydd, a rhai a fyddant ohono ti adeiladant yr hen ddiffeithleoedd. Gorau iawn gwirionedd. The best inspiration is truth. Be it known to members of the university and to all here present that an authorised congregation of the University of Wales is being held here in the city of Cardiff on the 12th of July 2004 to admit to their appropriate degrees worthy persons who have, through study at the university and through learning, ability and perseverance, been deemed worthy of such degrees in accordance with the ordinances of the university, in the hope that they may be given health and long life to serve their generation and their country under the blessing of heaven. Then shall thy light rise in obscurity, and thy darkness be as the noonday, and they that shall be of thee shall build the old waste places.
Bydded hysbys I aelodau'r Brifysgol ac I bawb sydd yn bresennol fod y Brifysgol wedi rhoddi'r awdurdod I Dr David Grant I dderbyn i'w graddau fyrfyrwyr yn Prifysgol Caerdydd a enilloedd raddau yn unol o rheolau'r y Brifysgol. Gwelir enwau'r rhai a gellu ei derbyn i'w graddau yn y cynulliad hwn yn y rhestrau printiedig sydd wedi ei dosbarthu. Let it be known to members of the University and to all who are present that the University has granted authority to Dr David Grant to admit to their degrees students of Cardiff University who have qualified for degrees according to the regulations of the University. The names of those who may be admitted to their degrees in this congregation are to be seen on the printed lists that have been distributed.
Anrhydeddus Is-Ganghellor, cyflwynaf I ti ddisgyblion o'n prifysgol ni a enillodd radd baglor mewn Peirianneg. Christopher Neil Boyd. Byron Chad Howe. Ovidiu Montano. Akaj Mohammed Irwan Idris. Bethan Jane Thomas. Rodri Williams. Bandar Alutaisan. Catherine Louise Brown. Adrian Crabb. Dale William James Crutcher. Richard Henry Corriton Day. Thomas Benjamin Garn. Brett Michael George. Nicola Francis Harris. Huijong He. George Bernard Heron. Evangelus Campus. Gareth David Langdon. Ting Chiang Lim. Si Che Lo. Sophia Maggiati. Oliver Charles Newcomb. Timothy Joseph Owen. David Sean Owens. Konstantinos Papapanos.
Bore da, good morning. At this point in the ceremony, and at other equivalent times, I will speak in Welsh to admit groups of graduands. Each degree has a formula of admission, which, when translated, means, by the authority conferred upon me by the University, I admit you to the degree, which I will name, and to all the privileges of that degree. Prwy awdurdod o Brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbyniaf chwi I radd baglor mewn Peirianneg ac I holl ffrynio'r radd hon. Well done. Well done. Congratulations.
Owen Robert David Poole. James Mark Scott. Adam Christopher Sharp. David Anthony Shaw. Daniel James Tilley. Ryan Anthony Wilford. Mitchell John Rowley. Folasedi Morayo Akadiri. Derry Rhydian Burgess. James Patrick Henry Clapham. William Alexander de Malveda. Lyndon Ellison. Ryan John MacLeod, James Edward Taylor, Gareth Owen Thomas, Ryan James Austin, Alexander James Blewett, Athanasios Dimopoulos, Philip John Holmes, Peter Barnaby Jones, Luke Mainwaring.
Rwy awdurdod y Brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi dy baniaf chwi I radd baglor mewn peirianneg ac I holl ffreniawr radd hon. Hold on.
Paris Matagos, Mohammed Zambri Maud Mota, Thomas Teaser Nakata, Kai Glyn Rees, Simon Rose, Athanasios Simpukut Zoglu, Michael James Worthy, Vivian Gavin Wayne Bishop, J. Alexander Nigel Birch, Andrew Brown, Martin Raymond Davis, Richard Thomas Davis, David William Jones, Dylan Meredith Jones, Gareth Rhys Jones, Christian Paul Michael Kennedy, Jeffrey Paul Kettle, Shahid Mia, Nicholas Alexandra Milnes, David Richard Payne, Rachel Marie Williams, Thomas Sebastian John Ray, Tamer Basmail, James Robert Bowler, Edward Buggins, Tanat David, Luke James Goddard, Jaffa Mazal, Alistair Colin McConaughey, Gareth William Oakey, Emma Louise Owen, Carolyn Richards, Gito Rhys Roberts, Andrew Rye.
Rwy awdurdod y Brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi dy baniaf chwi I radd baglor mewn peirianneg ac I holl ffreniawr radd hon.
David Martin Spanner, Nor Haslisa Adnan, Mark Wynne Griffiths, Saiful Nizam Hashim, Mohammed Alfandi Samshuddin, Ali Abdullah Nasser Al-Hilal, Owen Teller Edwards, Ian Philip Evans, Katie Louise Hurst, Jiao Lin, Thomas William Longhurst, Michael Lusmo, Helmi Majid, Caroline McCurgan, Jonathan Paul David Merritt, Matthew Charles Morgan, Cameron Gordon Stewart, Adam Warren, Ming Lai Chung, George Michael Dadd, Nadia Rawindaran, Yu Han Wong.
Rwy awdurdod a brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi dybyniaf chwi I radd baglor mewn peirianneg ac I holl fryniawr radd hon.
Anrhydeddus Isganghellor, cyflwynaf I ti ddisgyblion o'n prifysgol ni a enillodd radd athro mewn peirianneg. Ramsey Barber, Matthew Peter Cook, Robin James Everall, Alberto Farinola, Finola Kristen McNulty, Pierre-Louise Morcos, James Owen Rhys-Davis, Serena Kaur-Sando, Nicola Jane Stockbridge, Ellen Nia Watkins, Shawnee Deleri Evans, Gervais Kishanad Hadayal, Gavin Thomas Jones, Rami Abdallah El-Malki, Alexander Robert James Minnett, Adam John Spiller, Thomas Michael Ashby, Jonathan Ben Copnell, Benjamin Paul James Curtis, Kate Helen Darlington, Robert Elved Davis, Michaela Erskine, Alan John Faherty, Lucy Rose Fishlock,
Trwy awdurdod o brifysgol, a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniaf chwi, I radd athro mewn peirianneg ac I holl ffreniau'r radd hon.
Peter John Foster. James Lim Chung Fung. Nicholas Dunstan Jones. Kate Louise Lane. Richard Milstead. Gethin Morgan. Fadia Shafiq Ahmed. Austin Charles Shoebotham. James Warren Stanley. Tommy Setso. Ruth Rosemary Thomsett. Darren Christian Alsop. Joe Williamson. David Joseph Alchin. Charles Matthew Dolan. Christopher John Edgington. James Michael Hindry. Ahmed Zachary Ibrahim. Ellen Catherine Alice Jones. George Thomas O'Malley. Matthew Robert George O'Neill. Christopher James Robinson. Lee James Thomas.
Trwy awdurdod o brifysgol, a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniaf chwi, I radd athro mewn peirianneg ac I holl ffreniau'r radd hon.
David Hodges. Graham Peter Knight. Stephen James Mellows. Philip James Newman. Alexis Ellen Blades. Emma Jane Chew. Fiona Charlotte Franklin. Stuart William James. David Ian Murray. Henry Benjamin Norton. Peter Benjamin Robinson.
Trwy awdurdod o brifysgol, a ymddiriedwyd I mi y dybyniaf chwi I radd athro mewn peirianneg ac I holl ffreniau radd hon.
John Stewart Andrew Bailey. David Glyn Daniel Thomas. Darren Christian Alsop. Stephen John Burnett. Andrew Mark Chaston. Alistair Clark. Adam John Covell. Owain Llyr Dobson. Guillermo Lopez. Ross James Mahoney. Christopher Stephen Morris. Christopher Adam Osborne Jones. David Andrew Price. Matthew David Probert. Jason Lee Stinchcombe. Christopher Michael Taylor. John Paul Taylor. Joseph Tremaine Vernon. Mark John Walters. Gareth Williams.
Trwy awdurdod o brifysgol, a ymddiriedwyd I mi dybyniaf chwi I radd athro mewn peirianneg ac I holl ffreniau radd hon.
Anrhydeddus Isganghellor, cyflwynir gan yr athro Terry Marsden, ddisgyblion o'n prifysgol ni a nilloedd radd baglo mewn gwyddoniaeth.
I, Terry Marsden, present for the degree of Bachelor of Science. Catherine Benton. Fern Bridgman. Gemma Rebecca Bussy. David Ashley Cross. Lindsay Curtis. Lydian Claire Evans. Robert David Evans. Matthew Fury. Alton Gaffney. Anna Elizabeth Griffin. Jennifer Ann Heel. Luke James Hilson. Ben William James. Nina Ingrid Jones. Peter Nicholas Kelly, Christopher James Key, Hannah Susan Knight, Nagar Kwan Karen Lee, Rachel Mayfern Lim, Amy Elizabeth Longford, Amy Helen Lowther, Jonathan Paul Markwell, Emma Louise McCarthy, Jennifer Jane Mitter, Habiba Nasanga Nuzabuga,
Rwy awdurdod a brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbyniaf chwi I radd beglor mewn gwyddoniaeth ac I holl frenia'r radd hon.
Robert William Offord, Catherine Rhiannon Phillips, Hayley Irene Phillips, Victoria Helen Phillips, Claire Louise Richards, Susie Rolls, Jonathan David Rowlett, Hayley Spender, Laura Joy Stevens, Owen Magnus Struthers, Morgan Gareth Thomas, Hannah Elizabeth Trubshaw, Andrew David Watkins, Craig Watkins, Rebecca Jane Williams, Vicky Wilson, Stephen John Phillips,
Rwy awdurdod a brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbyniaf chwi I radd beglor mewn gwyddoniaeth ac I holl frenia'r radd hon.
David Brown. Henrietta Cobb. James Alistair Cook. Alexandra Sarah Curtis Slater. Karen James Dillon. Rowena Eve Eagleton. Evan Emma Evans. Adam Benjamin Gooch. Matthew James Gore. Simon James Thomas Hartwell. Helen Lisa Claire Inman. Ellen Wynne Jones. James Lloyd Malbon. Neil Philip Mantell. Alexander Ian Robinson. Laura Smith. Craig Lloyd Steinoff. Emma Louise Thomas. Ralph Francis Tufnell.
Prwy awdurdod y Brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbyniaf chwi I radd beglor mewn gwyddoniaeth ac I holl ffreniau'r radd hon.
Anrhydeddus Is-Ganghellor, cyflwynir gan yr athro Terry Marsden, ddisgyblion o'n prifysgol ni a nillodd diploma mewn cynllunio dinesig.
I, Professor Terry Marsden, present for the Diploma in Town Planning. Sarah Louise Butterfield, Victoria Louise Creed, Joanna Louise Harford, Elizabeth Clare Harper, Jonathan David Lane, Paul Lester, Kristen James Lewis, Meryl Angarad Lewis, James Carwin Francis Matthews, Carl Daniel McClure, Michael James Mills, Martin Alexander Moss, Luke Dylan Perkins, Peter Jonathan Rowlinson, Francesca Gemma Savini, Timothy Leslie Snell, Ian James Sosnowski, James Strangus, Mark John Westcott, Hannah Williams, Sarah Emma Williams,
Trwy awdurdod a brifysgol, ymddiriedwyd I mi, derbaniaf chwi, I ddiploma mewn cynllunio dynesig, ac I holl ffrenia'r diploma hwn.
Anrydeddus isgangellor, cyflwynaf I ti, ddisgyblion o'n prifysgol ni, na llunodd roedd baglwr mewn gwirionedd. Katie Ardisher. Kevin Paul Beasley. Paul Howard Brindle. Jennifer Sian Brown. Hannah Bunn. Thomas Matthew Coombs. Rachel Craythorne. Emma Creasy. Robert Earle. Nathan Edwards. Kate Fisher. Trevor Lloyd Griffiths. Ruth Victoria Amber Howes. Rebecca Mary Hawksworth. Sian Victoria Hilborn. Charlotte Meriel Hoskin. Emily Charlotte Humphreys. Rebecca Claire Lawson. Hilary Ann Lennox. Joanne McCourt. Thomas Henry Morris.
Trwy awdurdod a brifysgol, ymddiriedwyd I mi, derbaniaf chwi, I radd baglor mewn gwyddoniaeth ac I holl frenia'r radd hon.
Philip Necrew. James Hugh Norman. Ruth Norris. Debbie Richards. Claire Bridget Shepherd. Susie Jane Truman. Rachel Elizabeth Westerman. Julie Williams. Gareth David Wood. Gareth Mark Barnes. Daniel James Forder. Christopher Warwick George. Bridget Elizabeth Hall. Richard James Anthony Hicks. Christopher Benjamin Hobbs. Angharad Jane Lewis. Teresa Melanie Lloyd. Daniel James Milne. Lindsay Victoria Neville. Robert Leslie Palmer. David Andrew Pollitt. Rupert Guy Simpson. John Roger Stacey. Marek Lloyd Stevens. Niall Tomlinson.
Rwy awdurdod y Brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniaf chwi I radd baglor mewn gwyddoniaeth ac I holl freniau'r radd hon.
James Brown. Natasha Elise Buckle. Jessica Cavagna. Joseph Stanley Charles. James Edward Dyke. Gemma Louise Guilford. David Allard Jones. Zoe Eileen Jones. Robert James Kelly. Susan Louise Littler. Rebecca Jane Merrick. Rebecca Murphy. Christopher David Nutt. James John Pascoe. Nicola Jane Phillips. Simon James Shaw. Robert James Smithson. Alexander Charles Taylor. Colin Taylor. David James Taylor. Sarah Gale Thomas. Oliver Joseph Truman. Catherine Roos Addison. Kelly Nicole Allen. Fiona Rosemary Anderson. Gemma Louise Atack.
Rwy awdurdod a brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniad chwi I radd baglor mewn gwyddoniaeth ac I holl ffreniau'r radd hon.
Peter Dinsdale Bates. Laura Michelle Margaret Battle Welsh. Ross Baisley. Louise Betley. Hannah Mary Bodley. Leo Cedric Borrett. Vivian Bianca Bright. Elizabeth Jane Brooke. Alexander Mark Brown. Camilla Emily Case. Ben Cooper Woolley. Tobias James Crimmins. Gareth Rhys Davis. Stephen James Robert de Cruz. Stephen Mark Dutch. Roland James Diamond. Alid Rhys Evans. Michael David Evans. Philip Daniel Evans. Alexander James Farnsworth. Holly Foreman. Matthew Peter Fortnum. Jonathan Robert Gibbard. Mark Christopher Giles.
Rhwy awdurdod y Brifysgol am ddirjedwyd I mi derbaniaeth chwi I radd beglor mewn gwyddoniaeth ac I holl ffreniau radd hon.
Nicholas John David Gomersall. Adam Nicholas Gully. Daniel Hallam. Jonathan Darren Hart. Jonathan William Hasthorpe. Nicola Hussey. Henry Edward Jewell. Claire Elizabeth Jones. Irene Claire Kerr-Muir. Leah Jane Litchfield. David Graham Lovell. Rachel Karen Mansfield. Andrew Lloyd Miles. Nicholas James Mice. Luke Paul Phillimore. Harry Lawrence Price. Andrew Pritchard. Adam Rennie. Philip James Reynolds.
Rhwy awdurdod y Brifysgol am ddirjedwyd I mi derbaniaeth chwi I radd beglor mewn gwyddoniaeth ac I holl ffreniau'r radd hon.
Michelle Emma Robinson. Sarah Jane Ross. Lauren Alexandra Jean Sims. Melissa Elizabeth Abigail Smallshaw. Adam Peter Springthorpe. Toby Jonathan Taylor. Gemma Louise Thirlby. Mary Jane Vaughan. Sarah Louise Vincent Piper. Benjamin Lloyd Wade. Richard James Wham.
Trwy awdurdod y Brifysgol, ymddiriedwyd i mi derbyniad chwi i radd baglor mewn gwyddoniaeth ac i holl ffreniau'r radd hon.
Anrydeddus is Gangellor, gyflwynaf i ti ddisgyblion o'n prifysgol ni a enillodd radd athro mewn gwirorau'r daear. I, Professor Diane Edwards, present for the degree of Master in Earth Sciences. David Rodri Davis. Michael Jane Filtness. Gethin Lewis Gibbon. John Michael Gillard. Jennifer Ann Jones. Robert James Lawson. Frederick Richard Merrick Locke. Christopher James McFadden. Christopher Pristovic. Sarah Jane Ross.
Trwy awdurdod y Brifysgol, ymddiriedwyd i mi derbyniad chwi i radd athro mewn gwyddorau'r ddaear ac i holl ffreniau'r radd hon.
Anrhydeddus is Ganghellor, cyflwynir gan yr athro Jeremy Alden, ddisgyblion o'r prifysgol ni a enillodd radd athro mewn gwyddoniaeth.
I, Professor Jeremy Alden, present for the degree of Master of Science, Oliver Baldock. Samuel John Bevins. Lisa Dimmock. Marcella Margarita Erasti Orozco. Andrew David Fallis. Chloe Honor French. Andrew Paul Haycock. Connor Michael Hughes. Michael Thomas Jones. Kerry Lewis. Jonathan David Marshall. Marika Newbold. Tamsin Fiona Olninik. Luciana Adadora Osai. Adam William Selby. Tom Charles Stanley. John Urengocha Bilbao, Adam Wilson, James Wynne Stanley, Olutimirola Adideo Adifui, Guadalupe Dalpe Perez,
Trwy awdurdod a brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniaf chwi I rath athro mewn gwyddoniaeth ac I holl ffrenia'r rath hon.
Matthew Robert Bromley, Hannah Deborah Budnitz, Richard John Butler, Sophie Kate Donaldson, Wyman Lai, Chong Yu Lin, Hinako Mariyama, Richard Paul James Milam, Anna Catherine Prescott, Max Daniel Smith, Po Kwon Tang, Edward Arthur Gerald Thomas, Chun Song Wang, Jessica Jamie White, Vasilios Katritsis, Noraslina M. Sedon, Jiran Wen, Andrew James Aubrey, Stephen Joseph Kavanagh, Jun Shin Lee,
Trwy awdurdod a brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniaf chwi I radd athro mewn gwyddoniaeth ac I holl ffrenia'r radd hon.
Scott Mark Lewis, Nagaraja Welasami, Christina Ellis, Ross McDermott, Marianne Sebe, Lutuf Ali Shah, Louise Tabor, Alexandra Helen Thomas, Claire Mitchard, Anne Virginia O'Reilly, Michael Bowen Thomas, Nicola Gaynor Williams, Sanjay Kumar Gupta, Francis Lamb, Ellen Ann Harrod Evans, Irene Ferguson, Anne O'Keefe, Nia Delwyn Richards, Abdul Razak Abdul Karim, C. Paul Nanados,
Prwy awdurdod y Brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniaf chwi I radd athro mewn gwyddoniaeth ac I holl ffyrenia radd hon.
Saqib Siddiq, Gareth Davis, Rosemary Evanuk, Eva Christian Hellman, Leanne Justine James, Tanya Rosa Neiman, Mena Raj, David Allen Rees, Kwok Wai Wan, Cheng Yu Yu, Mohammed Saril Rahim, Fazil Haider Saeed, Tanna Cheng, Per Martin John Holstead, Haruna Thushith Kulupana, Yao Lu, Adeliza Mazran, Kong Peng, Rodrigo Alfonso Reyes Aranis.
Prwy awdurdod y Brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniaf chwi I radd athro mewn gwyddoniaeth ac I holl ffrenia'r radd hon.
Anrhydeddus Is-Ganghellor, cyflwynir gan yr athro Jeremy Alden, disgyblion o'n prifysgol ni a enillodd radd athro mewn athroniaeth.
I, Professor Jeremy Alden, present for the degree of Master of Philosophy, Andrew Stewart Dakin, Louise Jane Davies, Andrew Emery.
Trwy awdurdod y brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniaf chwi I radd athro mewn athroniaeth ac I holl ffreiniau'r radd hon.
Anrhydeddus isganghellor, cyflwynir gan yr athro Jeremy Alden, disgyblion o'n prifysgol ni a enilloedd radd doethyr mewn peirianneg.
I, Professor Jeremy Alden, present for the degree of Doctor of Engineering. Anna Gimigiano. James David Lee.
Trwy awdurdod y brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniaf chwi I radd doethyr mewn peirianneg ac I holl ffreiniau'r radd hon.
Anrhydeddus isganghellor, cyflwynir gan yr athro Jeremy Alden, disgyblion o'n prifysgol ni a nillodd radd doethyr mewn athroniaeth.
I, Professor Jeremy Alden, present for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Hassan Mohammed Abdallah. John Anthony Adams. Sharon Diane Pearl Benson. John Christian Cotton. Andrew Philip Crayford. Thomas Andrew Cunningham Fraser. Daniel Froud. Andrew David Grand. David Richard Griffiths. Emma Lowry Harris. Chung Kian Shi. David Allen Jones.
Trwy awdurdod y brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniaf chwi I radd doethyr mewn athroniaeth ac I holl ffreiniau'r radd hon.
Martin Jeremy Jones. Caton Primonto Kerniwan. Stephen John Luke. Shahid Hamid Mian. Sean Mervyn. David Oldham. Devin James Sapston. John William Francis Sheridan. James Seymour Smith. Donald Thomas. Matthew James Turner. David James Williams.
Trwy awdurdod a brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniad chwi I radd doethyr mewn athroniaeth ac I holl ffreiniau'r radd hon.
Anrhydeddus is ganghellio. Cymradoiaf I ti y rhai a nodwyd yn y rhaglen I dderbyn yn ei habsyneldeb a graddau perthnasol.
Professor Jeremy Alden present all those who are to receive their degrees in absentia.
Trwy awdurdod a brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniaf a chrau a nodwyd yn ei habsynoldeb yw graddau perthnasol ac I holl ffreiniau'r graddau hynny.
Ymunewch chi myfyrwyr sydd wedi derbyn eu graddau y bore yma, gyd sefyll I dderbyn cyfarchion Is-lywydd y Brifysgol a warden Urdd y Graddedigion. Can I invite all those of you who have been admitted to your degrees this morning to stand so that you can receive the greetings of the Vice President of the University and the Warden of the Guild of Graduates. Thank you.
Boed eich gobl yn wastad dros llwydd, ac anrhydedd ein brifysgol a'n gwlad. May your care ever be for the success and good name of our university and our country.
Llongyfarchiadau a croeso I Urdd y Graddedigion Prifysgol Cymru. Congratulations and welcome to the Guild of Graduates of the University of Wales.
Before you sit down, I'm sure that all you very proud graduates would like to join in a tradition at Cardiff at these ceremonies. That is to pay a special tribute to your families and friends and indeed your academic staff who have supported you over many long years to reach this point in your career today. Now is your opportunity to turn around and greet them and to say a special thank you to them all by giving them all a big round of applause and to say a public thank you. Please show your appreciation. Thank you. You may sit down.
Vice-Chancellor. Jonathan Porritt is one of those who have helped to change the political world in which we live, and his great achievement must be reckoned to be his part in the process whereby environmental concerns entered the political mainstream. This change has, in its turn, produced new forms of environmental action. The companies which are responsible for environmental problems have considerable awareness and increasing expertise in the field, and at this stage, Jonathan Porritt maintains, with government utterances largely positive, it is better to go along hand in hand with industry than to fight. He is co-founder and programme director of Forum for the Future, a charity campaigning for solutions to today's environmental problems, through which he is able to promote an ethos of stewardship and global responsibility. Forum is the United Kingdom's leading sustainable development charity, with over 100 partner organisations, including some of the world's leading companies. In July 2000, the Prime Minister appointed him chair of the UK Sustainable Development Commission, whose task is to promote sustainable development across all sectors of the economy and work towards agreement on future progress. Interestingly, he reports not only to the Prime Minister, but to the First Ministers in Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland. The Commission was given a 5-year life, and we await news of its final achievements with interest in 12 months' time. Jonathan Porritt is also co-director of the Prince of Wales Business and Environment Programme, chairman of Sustainability South West, a trustee of the World Wildlife Fund UK, and a vice president of the Socialist Environment Resources Association. A normally reliable but anonymous source tells me that he's able to give the Prime Minister a hard time on the environment when that is necessary. Earlier in his career, he was director of Friends of the Earth, 1984 to 1990, co-chair of the Green Party for 3 years, from 80 to 83, and chairman of the United Nations Environment and Development United Kingdom Committee from 1993 to 6. His career can also be read through his many publications, which include Seeing Green, The Politics of Ecology Explained in 1984, then The Coming of the Greens, Green Alternatives in a Troubled World, Save the Earth, Captain Eco and the Fate of the Earth, The Environment, the Government's Record, and Lifelines in 1995, and more recently, Playing Safe, Science and the Environment in the year 2000. In 2000, he was awarded the CBE for services to environmental protection. Anrhydeddus is ganghellor, cyflwynaf I ti Jonathan Porritt fel cymrawd anrhyddedd Prifysgol Caerdydd. If you come with me.
Vice-Chancellor, Professor Skilton, graduates, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, I just want to thank the Vice-Chancellor and everyone involved in the honour that you do me by inviting me to be part of this wonderful university, and to have been here today on what must be a very appropriate moment for me. Professor Skilton didn't actually mention this, but my own degree was in modern languages a long time ago now, and it has to be said that that really didn't serve me hugely well in terms of the profession that I eventually ended up in as an advocate for sustainable development and all things environmental. And I must say this morning I was pretty envious of what I was hearing as the names unrolled in front of me. Just to be involved in something called the Earth, Ocean and Planetary Sciences sends a kind of buzz down my backbone that most of you probably can't understand. But I'm very struck by the privilege that all of you now have, graduating today in that school, in planning, in engineering. And I just want to touch on that briefly to try and explain why I think it's so important that people such as yourselves are now going out into the world with that set of professional skills and competencies to try and make life better for other people. Planetary sciences is something which, it has to be said, are notoriously absent from the political and economic systems of the world today. I'm sorry to have to tell you that right now, if you ran your finger down the list of all of those people in cabinet or Parliament who had really anything other than an extremely rudimentary inkling of planetary sciences, you would come up with a very short list indeed. And that costs us all a lot, because the way we see the world and our part in it is in fact critical to our ability to find solutions for that world and for the people with whom we share it. I'm conscious here of the great work of Professor Jim Lovelock, a man who more than 30 years ago started to put together the so-called Gaia hypothesis, a better understanding of how natural systems work, an understanding of the Earth as a self-regulating organism within which we, albeit as the dominant species, still have a very small part to play, relatively speaking. Most people don't understand their part in that system. We see the Earth as something that we can use for our own purposes and benefits as we see fit. We don't really see ourselves fitting into that larger system. Hence the difficulties that many people face in the planning profession today, and to you I wish you all the very best for what will undoubtedly be extremely controversial careers. Planning is difficult. In the latest Planning Act, which has just gone through Parliament, planning is now officially defined as the business of delivering sustainable development, securing the right balance between environmental, social and economic issues, ensuring that we continue to prosper materially and economically without doing damage to people's quality of life and to the physical environment. A constant battle, a constant set of sophisticated trade-offs. And an even bigger trade-off behind that, not just wrestling with what we need to do by way of the economy, society and the planet, but wrestling with the balance between this generation, your generation, and all future generations that come after you. That is the challenge of sustainable development, getting that balance right. What we take unto ourselves today in order to fuel our own economies and to make for a better way of life for ourselves, and what we have to protect and reserve for those generations that come after us. And then, of course, we have the engineers. I speak here with some feeling. I am really nothing but a theoretician in these areas. I talk a lot about the importance of creating and fashioning sustainable ways of life. By and large, it is people like yourselves, engineers, who have to actually make it work on the ground, who have to deliver sustainable buildings, infrastructures for people today. And not just for the 1 billion relatively wealthy people who live lives roughly the same as you do, but for the 5 billion other people with whom we share this planet now, and for the 8 billion people with whom you will share it in the second half of this century. That's the challenge. In creating a sustainable world for people, we have to think of 9 billion people living sustainably on this planet. And I can assure you that will keep all of you extremely busy for the rest of your lives. At the moment, if every single person on planet Earth chose to live and was enabled to live at the same material standard of living as we live here in the UK, we would need 3 planet Earths to fuel that way of life. If everybody was enabled to live at the same standard of living as the average Californian, God help them, then we would need 5 planet Earths. I need hardly explain to you this morning that we have just the one. And that is the nature of the challenge, and that is your privilege, in my opinion, in being part of that extraordinary process. So if I may, Vice-Chancellor, to end with a few words, I hope this isn't sacrilegious, but to end by making a couple of minor adaptations to the proclamation with which this wonderful ceremony started some time ago, and to wish all of you graduates, all the very best, in the hope that you may be given health and long life to serve your generation and your country and future generations under the blessing of heaven and or Gaia. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was very thought-provoking and challenging, wasn't it? Thank you so much, Jonathan Porritt. We're now nearly at the end of the ceremony, and I've been involved in many of these ceremonies for some time, but I always get the same amount of pleasure, which is a maximum for this occasion. It's the event in the university calendar, as far as I'm concerned. And this venue helps to give a great sense of occasion to the proceedings, but above all, I say with a wonderful atmosphere of joy and pride that has pervaded here this morning. I give my congratulations to everyone who has graduated, and I trust that it will bring happy memories at all times. Graduation is certainly one of the defining events in one's life. Could I just interpolate here just a little thought that came from what Jonathan Porritt said? He talked about where he studied modern languages and what he's now doing. It's a pet theme of mine. Don't close your mind to some lateral thinking just because you have a degree in a particular subject. I certainly didn't end up where I studied in the same professions I studied. Some graduates will be staying here to pursue their studies, and we'll be glad to welcome you back. However, most of you will be leaving Cardiff for other parts of these islands and overseas. But I wish each and every one of you good health, happiness, and a successful career. I trust you've enjoyed your stay in Cardiff and that you will become ambassadors for us, both for the university and the city. And as a first step, please look at page 9 of the programme, where there is a reference to the alumni office. If you haven't done so already, please get in touch with them. In looking around today in Cardiff, it's very noticeable that it's sustaining its reputation as an international centre of learning. There are men and women from over 60 countries studying at this university, and many of them were with us this morning. It's very fitting because, of course, Cardiff became a great city on the back of international trade. That brought to us many nationalities who have settled here in peace and in harmony. Do make the most of your qualification and use your talents to the full. Have a zest for life. Be curious to learn. And join what I call the University of Life. Second degrees, further diplomas are very valuable and cross-discipline these days, very important. The pursuit of knowledge is a justifiable end in itself, isn't it? But knowledge is also the enemy of tyranny. And ultimately, knowledge is the most powerful weapon of all. Resolve also to help those, whenever possible, who are less fortunate than ourselves. To you and all you hold dear, good health, happiness, and may you find fulfillment in all you do. On behalf of the university and, of course, myself, have a safe journey home, and goodbye.